Alright, grade 4s, we are on lesson 2, fraction benchmarks. You'll see that I have the page on record here with my document camera, and we're doing the section Explore, and this will be up on Google Classroom as well. But I wanted to go over this activity and show you how I did it using a paper and a ruler and some scissors. Right at the top it says you will need 6 strips of squared paper the same length as this strip. So all I did was take a piece of paper, line it up right underneath, you can see on this side, okay, and mark to the end of it here, and I just made a line with my pencil, a mark, okay, on my paper. Make it a little darker so you can see it. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is take my ruler. I'm going to just leave that there, and I'm just going to do that nice straight line down my page. Okay, just like that. Okay, and it says you need 6 strips. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same width, or sorry, not width, but length this way, width. So I'm going to just start making 6 lines. Okay, roughly that same size. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to do right here, I can see if I line this back up, because we're using the benchmarks of 0, 1, and a half, it showed a half right there. Okay, my dog's barking. It's raining and she's outside. I'm going to take that line, I'm just going to mark it halfway down my page, just like that. Okay? And then it makes it really easy to do that. And then what I'm going to do is start cutting these out. So I'm going to pause record, and then I'll show you my finished cut out strips. Alright, so now I've done my 6 strips of paper. I've cut them all out, and you can see I have one right here. I'm lining it up just like where the textbook is, or the paper. Alright, and again, I'm putting a half right there is my half benchmark. Here's my 1 at the end, representing 1, and 0 here. Now I'm going to just do the line, sorry, I'm going to hold that again right there. And I'm going to do these dashed lines as close as I can to the ones on my textbook page. Okay, because this strip is broken down into 10 equal parts. Okay, and what the first direction says is color a paper strip to show 3 tenths. So I'm going to show 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. So I'm coloring in each of these, and all I'm going to do is just shade my paper in. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So I'm shading in 3 tenths. Okay, and the question is 3 tenths closer to 0, a half, or 1? So I'm going to put it back up to my benchmark, and you have to see which one is it closest to, 0, half, or 1. And you can see it's 2 tenths away from a half, or 3 tenths back to 0. So it is closer to a half than it is to 0, and you can see it's quite far from 1. So 3 tenths is closer to a half than it is to 0 or 1. I'll move that. Now it's saying estimate if each fraction in the box over here is closer to 0, half, or 1. I'm going to read those out. We have 3 tenths, which we just did, 1 tenth, 7 tenths, 2 tenths, 6 tenths, and 9 tenths. So think about that for a minute. Look at those numbers, thinking about the numerator and the denominator, and think about how close you think it is to 0, half, or 1. Then you're going to check using your paper strips that you have cut out. So again, here's my next paper strip, and I'm going to do 9/10 next. So I'm going to line it up again, and I'm going to do my equal parts. You can see I'm just doing little dash lines. Okay, into my 10 equal parts. I'm going to make sure I have written 1, a half, and 0 on my strip. And now I'm going to color a 9/10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9/10. And if I put it back up here, you can see, is it closer to 0, a half, or 1? And you should be able to see that you're very close to 1, farther to a half, and way farther to a 0, because 9/10 is actually almost a whole. One more tenth and it would be a whole. So if I looked at the chart down here, chart says closer to 0, closer to half, and closer to 1. The page is a little cut off, sorry about that. They're asking you to write that down. You can do that on a piece of paper, or just kind of mentally do that in your head, thinking that which one is closer to 0, half, or 1. And you'll do that with the remainder of the strips. 6/10, 1/10, 7/10, and 2/10. So just a quick video to show you what that part of Lesson 2 is about, using fraction benchmarks.